there is still organic demand for Chinese modules, and this demand is looking for capacity. So it's looking for shipments of big volumes in short periods of time. Obviously also bankability. So the branding of Chinese manufacturers that is seen as very positive by a lot of financing institutions. And then again the whole operational side, from obviously the own supply chain to the customer supply chain.
In what you might call hopefully a post-subsidy era, what sort of activity will JA Solar be seeing in the market, and what will you be trying to achieve there?
I think first of all what we see is that demand is becoming more organic, which means, as you say, subsidies are phasing out or are being decreased. So as we all know, we are at or below grid parity in various markets, and for those markets what is needed are business models that suit this new organic demand. And this is something where we as a manufacturer, but together with our partners, have to work out new products, new services. This is, frankly speaking, still in the making. I think Italy will be a very interesting market in Europe to see what kind of business models will emerge. Obviously, also every market is still different. Will have different demand, but it is about really also changing the mindset of customers, that maybe PV is not that much anymore about an IRR or return on invest, but more about producing electricity, having a secure supply of electricity at a cost that I can foresee for the next 20-25 years. So see solar really as what it is, as a generation or a source of electricity.
Some analysts have described it as basically an upturn coming this year, with people spending more on R&D and things like that. What are JA Solar expecting from 2014, and do you think that's upturn something that's been expected?
Well, what we do think is that in total global demand will be the biggest ever. So here, the JA Solar internal analysis is not different from what industry analysts are now having as their results.
Sure.
What we also see is a certain consolidation in the industry on a global basis, which means that the demand is more and more focusing on the top manufacturers, the tier 1 manufacturers, and therefore we as JA think that 2014 will be very decent in demand. In terms of pricing, we think that it should be stable. Obviously, what we are experiencing is increasing costs on the silicon and wafer side. We will see how this goes forward. But we see 2014 as one of the few years the PV industry has had over the last 10 years, which should be rather stable.
In terms of spending returning and things like that, JA Solar have got some new products. You mentioned the high efficiency cells.
Yeah.
Would you like to tell us a little bit about those?
Yeah, it would be my pleasure. So I think we have a very interesting product with our high efficiency full square mono modules. At the 60 cell module level, we will reach 270 to 275 watt peak output, which of course gives an upside to the installer or to the final investor on the balance of systems side. But in addition to that, this is a product we are supplying to the for example, also UK market right now, also into ground mount projects. In addition to that, we have other technologies coming up, which on the 60 cell module should lead to, or we expect it to lead to 280-85 watt peak for the module. And we want to phase this in, have a start of mass production of these products still within the second half of this year.
You mentioned earlier in markets like Italy, where say subsidies have been cut, sometimes phased out, sometimes just taken away. Do you think solar will still survive in those markets, and how do you think companies will find their way to repurpose around that?
I do think solar will survive, just because, again, there will be organic demand. Which companies will serve those markets? I strongly believe it's really the ones that are strong on the product side, and either by themselves or through their partners on the service side. In Italy, obviously, financing is a big issue still, so going in with financing solutions. So I think it's really, in the end, the companies that will, survive are the ones that have great products, good products, but also see that in the end what we are selling is electricity and not a module or an IRR.